Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Nick's Wellness Report. I have a lot of fun doing this. You and I together have a chance to talk to people who are on our program changing their lives. And every time I get to talk to these people, I learn more things about what went wrong in their life, what went right. And I have to tell you, if everyone on the program right now, I don't want to jinx us, but everyone on the program is seeing their glucose number going down. They're seeing improvement in well-being, and they're seeing weight loss. Now, we're going to find out from Gary what his experiences were, but it's just an amazing journey, that I never conceived this thing would be this big. I just find that what we were told about food wasn't correct, and what we were told about diet wasn't correct. And I think about all the years that I suffered through with ridiculous diets where I was miserable. Okay, then we're off the diet and I gained another 10 pounds for punishment. Got back to the original weight and all that. And now, it's not dieting. I'm never hungry. Every once in a while I have a bowl of ice cream and like it, and I don't feel guilty. And when I stand on the scale, it looks fine. So the secret is by monitoring the food and monitoring how your body reacts to it. And, keeping your numbers out of the red. Gary, come on in here. How are you?
Gary, you may need to unmute on your end. Just touch the microphone at the top of your screen like Jim showed you. There you go.
Hi.
Gary, I think you hit it twice. I think you remuted yourself.
Hello.
Hi there. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine, Nick.
Hey, nice to finally get to talk to you. I've been watching your numbers for weeks now. By the way, I see you had to do the pizza, huh?
I had to try it. You saw my note in there, I guess.
He
too.
sent me a message. What? No, of course. What happens is we provide everybody on the program a data logger, and the logger constantly reads us the stream of what their blood sugar is, and then you log what you eat. So I got a message from him. I'm going to read it to you. He goes, experiment. First time to eat pizza, so getting the glucose sensor. I wanted to see what would happen. No need to yell at this time. So he cleaned that one sugar and pizza hit and drove his left. One second. So now he knows. By the way, sometimes pizza without the meat, but a lot of pizzas put a lot of factory meat in there. Has a lot of monosodium glutamate and a lot of things people react to. So try to get without the meat.
I will. This was a buffet. I had several different varieties, so I'll have to try it again and narrow it down to specific types to get a better handle on it.
I can have pizza. I can only have one slice, though. I have a cheese pizza. I can have the vegetables on it. I can't have the meat on it. But I like it thick, so I'm getting a one-slice thick pizza, and that's nice every once in a while. So tell me about your experiences.
Okay, your audio was breaking up here a little bit. I don't know if you can still hear me, but basically I had a lot of family that has diabetes, and mother, grandmother, aunts, uncles, various ones, and I didn't want to join them, so to speak, so I went to the doctor. Of course, he gives you a long list of things you can't eat: ice cream, all the breads, pizza, everything, and basically you're turned into a rabbit. So I thought I would try your system here, and it seems to work very well.
Have you lost any weight yet?
I've lost about 20 pounds so far, and I've got a little bit more to go, but I'm not hungry, and it's very very interesting. I find it fascinating that you can eat something and watch the numbers either climb or fall. It's very, very unique.
Instantly knowing, before, if I ate the wrong foods, I had no way of knowing, right? I mean, how do I know what was the wrong food? And now within 2 hours, I know. Tell me, any health benefits? You feeling any better? Any of that kind of thing? Have you had any change in medications and all that?
Well, I'm not on the glucose medication or anything, but on some cholesterol medication, and I hope that I will be able to drop that in the near future. And I probably will if I keep losing the weight. And I do have more energy. Just the fact that you're not hauling as much around helps out a lot.
What were the surprise foods you found out you couldn't eat?
Well, I'm still in the exploration process of finding out things. One of the big ones was cereal. I thought, well, I'll get a bowl of cereal in the morning, and it wasn't the ones that was frosted with all the sugar. It was supposed to be one that was allegedly healthy, had a little heart logo on the box, and I got a bowl of that and put some milk on it and then watched the monitor, and I was shocked as to how fast and how high that the glucose level climbed just from that one bowl.
Amazing, isn't it?
It is.
They put me on oatmeal every morning. They said, listen, it's heart healthy food. It'll lower your cholesterol. You can have half a cup of dry oatmeal. And, I have the old-fashioned kind of the boiling water, but you don't put any milk in it, don't put any sugar in it. And I was eating a bowl of oatmeal every single morning, and it was higher than almost any other food I had on my glucose. It was unbelievable. Plain oatmeal. They never told me. It's supposed to be one of the healthiest foods around.
Well, that cereal I was eating was oatmeal, oat-based cereal, too. So, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I see on here that you're, did you have ice cream back when here? Let me see. Yeah, you did. Tell me about the ice cream.
The ice cream, I found the ice cream doesn't cause it to go up real high if you get an ice cream that's very basic. I found a local one here that only has 4 ingredients in it. It has the milk, cream, sugar, and then vanilla flavoring. And then I tried some homemade ice cream too, and I was surprised at that. That's one of the first things they told me I couldn't eat. Me too.
I'll tell you how we figured that out. The cream is very expensive, so if they put in a lot of these thickening agents that are just factory stuff, like a gluten product, they can get away with putting less cream in it. And then they have all kinds of gums and emulsifiers that thicken it up, and that's what's really bad for you. So if you just get a plain old ice cream homemade or a high quality ice cream that's made with milk and cream, you can eat it. It was amazing. And I see you're eating the pork and beef sausage. Tell me about that.
The pork and beef sausage. Well, I was over at some friend's house, and they had some pork and beef sausage. It wasn't the little hot dog thing. It was a larger one, and it was pretty tasty. So wanted to see how that would work out.
Yeah, I see that. You also occasionally glass of beer, I see.
Yes, and one thing I found out, I can have red wine. I like to have a little bit before dinner in the evening, and I seem to do pretty good with that. So I may stick to that.
Yeah, that goes both ways. Some people can have the wine and some people can't. Some people, when they first start out on the program, can't have the wine because the sugar's so high all the time. And once it goes down and get within normal ranges, then they can add it back into the diet. It's amazing. That's one of the things they tell you is a big no-no. But it seems like a lot of people can have it, and it's healthy. Have you had a chance to check your fruits and vegetables yet?
I haven't checked as many of them out as I'd like to. I had some fresh peaches and sometimes orange juice in the morning, and I just eat just a little bit of the fruit. I don't want to overdo it, so I need to I need to test it separately. I haven't been in the program as long as some of the other guests on here, but I have plans to check these things out individually in the near future.
Amazing discovery on this thing, isn't it? How
It
long
is.
are you on the program?
Well, I just got a refill for the second month of the sensors. I just put one in last week, so just a little over a month, I guess, maybe a month
You
and
lost
a
20
half.
pounds?
Yes.
You lost 20 pounds?
Yes.
Whoa. Were you hungry? Pain, suffering?
No, not really. I haven't been hungry, so I guess it's working. Another thing I noticed, you talking about the cream and such. I like drink coffee, and I was drinking coffee with this artificial creamer. So I cut. That was the first thing that I found out was causing problems. So I cut out the coffee creamer altogether and switched over to milk or half and half, and I'm going to try some cream. And I was amazed how much difference that made.
Well, I'll tell you what, that half and half is made with a hydrogenated vegetable oil. They put all kinds of enhancers in it, emulsifiers and stuff, and everybody goes a moonshot on it. And, you'd think you couldn't have pure cream or even half and half, and everybody can. You'll find, I'd be surprised, but everyone I'm finding can have cream, real cream in the coffee again. You know what else you can have? Whipped cream. You can make yourself homemade whipped cream with the heavy cream, whip it up, just put a little bit of sugar into the taste with the sugar in it, and most everybody tolerates whipped cream. I love whipped cream with strawberries. Now, you can't use that stuff in a can, but you make yourself some whipped cream. Who ever thought you'd have a diet with chocolate, whipped cream? Oh, my God, ice cream? Have you tried chocolate yet?
I haven't tried chocolate. I'm going to try to get some of the higher concentration of cocoa without all the extra fillers and sugar in it and see how that works out for me.
Most everybody can eat a 70% high-quality chocolate. Okay, it's kind of like I was having I have like 4 squares of it. I'm eating the chocolate. My daughter goes, Dad, that's chocolate. You're supposed to be on a diet. I said, yeah, honey, it really works. I can have chocolate again. Yay!
That's good.
I don't want to eat rabbit food. I can't stay on a diet with carrots, and celery, and lettuce, and just greens. It's like bunny rabbit food. I can't. Life's not worth living. I've been able to reintroduce. I know. I've been able to reintroduce into my diet now some breads. Now the factory breads and even the multi-grains they mark on the package doesn't seem to work. But if I go to these boutique bakeries, where they say they're using old-fashioned style yeast and old-fashioned flour, there's one place brings the flour in from Germany here, and it's a German rye bread, which I really like, and I can eat that. So I'm at the point now where I can have tuna salad sandwiches because at one time I had to cut out all bread, and I started experimenting and discovered that the factory bread, even if it says multi-grain or the factory whole wheat from the big outfits, what they do is they use a special high-yielding yeast, fast rising to cut down on the rising time, and then they add gluten to the flour to make it rise even further, make it thicker, and you can't eat that. But if you get the old-fashioned, where they let the bread rise overnight and they're using old-fashioned yeast and stone ground quality flour, that seems to work. So we're finding a lot of people can introduce, with the right testing, breads back in the diet.
That's one of the things I need to work on is the breads. I've cut down on the quantity and then I've changed up the brands, but I haven't really isolated it down to which ones are really bad and which ones I need to just avoid altogether.
Yeah, I've been going through that. What I found was that there's 2 kinds of bakery. The bakery that buys their dough ready-made and then they bake it in the bakery. But you got to get the one where they're actually mixing the dough there, and they're pretty sophisticated bakers, and they're baking like the old-fashioned with the old-fashioned yeast. That seems to be tolerable. That's kind of an interesting one. We just started trying to quantify and getting people to test it. So we'll have you. I'll start giving you a list of the brands and type of breads we found that people can eat. It's amazing. The bread came back. I can also have pancakes again. I got to make sure that they're made with baking powder. For me, yeast products I can't eat, but I can eat like Johnny Cakes, which is basically a milk biscuit made with baking powder. I can have pancakes with baking powder. That was a real surprise. I thought pancakes were out forever. I was told that by the dietitian, you know. And then I'm about to try that same batter, see if I can make a waffle. I love waffles. And, I might even get really nasty and try waffles with ice cream. Oh my God!
Put some whipped cream on it too.
What is so cool about this is that, you know, it's a mystery. I'll give you an example. I can't eat a baked potato. I like a baked potato with sour cream and lots of butter. I can't have it. I don't know what it is about a baked potato, but French fries, I can have. Now, go figure. French fries with a little dab of ketchup. I can't go crazy with ketchup, but I can have French fries. And mashed potatoes doesn't seem to work for me. I think it's something to do with how they're cooked or the processing that goes on. It's just, you just never know. It's just, and it varies with people. I see people that can have baked potato and mashed potato, but they can't have French fries. I see people that can have potato, I see people that can't. It just goes crazy out there. Well, you're going to find a whole new world of food out there as you continue on this program. It's going to be amazing. Life changing. Change your life forever.
It's very good. I'm glad I got on it when I did, because it's really made a difference so far, and I hope a lot of other people can benefit from it too.
We've got new people coming on every week. You know, as you know, it's a lot of work with, you know, we email back and forth. Some people have to be phone available to, you know, walk them through getting, you know, the equipment going and getting the data logger. A little bit of learning curve on that. And then the spreadsheets. See, we do those 3 spreadsheets every week. We keep a weekly log of everything you do. And that's the secret, because in that, you got those little circles where you can make sure you're in the green to see when your blood sugar is going too high and too low. It tells you about the meals and all that, as you know. And for people that have medical problems, the doctors love it, because a lot of times they never had good information. In other words, you know, if someone's a diabetic, maybe they pinprick, you know, 2-3 times a day, maybe once every few days. So there was no way of knowing what's going on. Now, the data logger gives us a reading every 5 minutes. So every 5 minutes, day and night, we know what's going on. Amazing. Any problems with it?
No, I haven't had really any problems. I know that sometimes it's kind of hard to find the food you're looking for in the database, and I think that's probably just a cultural thing. Partly, some people call the same thing by a different name, and you have to kind of hunt for it sometimes.
We've been looking for what we've done is we've bought a database that provides it with us, and it depends upon even the region of America, you know, what they call different things. So it's that, but once you find the food, it gets into memory, then you don't have to look it up again, which is a good thing about it. But that's the thing we're having the biggest trouble with. We want to change that food library, but it's a bigger problem than you realize because of how things are called. Some places they call for like chicken cutlets, chicken schnitzel. You know, so it's a different term. That kind of crazy stuff. It's just it's food traditions all over the country. Remember, we have a big presence in Europe, and in fact, we originally started this in Europe, and that's where we did the database that we collected on this. We could understand what's going on.
I noticed some of the things I couldn't pronounce, so I figured they were from another part of the world.
Yeah, it's an English-based base, but it's based out of Europe, and that's because originally the technology was not available in America. They just had these sensors available since January, where we've had it in Europe for over a year now. So it was a big difference in the time it took to get the technology to even come to America. Isn't that interesting? There's just it's so new, and such a new revolution in knowing what's going on now. They've had very expensive readers of blood glucose, which involve taping a transmitter to the belly and wires and all this stuff. But for people who are really, really ill, they had to do it costing thousands of dollars. So this new technology is a very small, inobtrusive device about the size of a quarter, like two of them stacked together, and very accurate. Very accurate. It's just amazing. It's completely revolutionized how we're looking at food. We have doctors contacting us, sending us very, very sick patients, and because we also have alarms in there. In other words, if the glucose goes too high or too low, the data collector will go ahead and notify you, and we can see it on our end. It's been amazing. We've got a couple people that were much sicker than they realized because if someone has diabetes and they're sleeping, they're not doing a pinprick, so they don't know what's going on. And all of a sudden, we discovered all kinds of things. Over medication, it was making glucose go too low. It's been really revealing. It's an amazing journey in my life. Of all the things I've done, this has been the one that just is full of surprises. Kind of like a gift give mankind. Really, I'm very proud of what we're doing this thing. It's interesting. We have a lot of people that are on this helping us that are volunteers. We're getting this thing going. Mainly because they had such great success stories. It's just been, we've had several people, like 3 or 4, that were very, very ill. I mean, very ill. And the stage where the diabetes was running out of control, and we success. In fact, one of our people that was really ill with very, very high dose of insulin is now off the metformin. In other words, she is now completely free of all diabetes medicines. Kind of like that. And they told her that never happened. Completely free.
I think I heard her on one of your broadcasts, if I'm not mistaken.
That's Patricia, yeah.
Yes.
The latest was that she got off of all of at the time she did the interview, she had just gotten off of all of her injections of insulin. So she was on the diabetic pill. And as of Friday, taking the numbers of the doctor, she's off of it. She's taking no diabetes medication. She's been 20 years, very ill. In the stage where it was out of control, and she's losing weight, and she's off all diabetes medicines, and the numbers are looking really good. It's kind of amazing. Yeah, that was an accident. We never really realized that somebody that was that ill, this could change. The doctor didn't either. The doctors, we've been consulting with the doctor, a really brilliant doctor. He's looking at the numbers. He slowly adjusted her medication, and finally took her off it as of Friday. So. I might bring her back on again to tell how her progress is. She's lost a lot of weight, newfound person, that kind of thing. When you're not sick, you're controlling weight and stopping your numbers from getting out of hand, right?
Right. I didn't want to get out of control.
Yeah, once it's out of control, as you know, with your family, it's an ugly, nasty disease. And if you're overweight and your sugar goes too high, too long, eventually the doctor, knocks on your window and says, "Okay, time for the pills." And then when you start on the pills, it's a hop, skip, and a jump to the injections.
My grandmother had, she was a diabetic back in the 60s and 70s, and I remember we'd have to, boil the reusable syringe and all, and give her a injection of insulin. It was kind of crude back then as to how much you give them. You didn't really know what you're doing compared to today's technology.
Yeah, but still, even then, it's still hard to control the dosage. In other words, the problem is that, what they teach them to do is calculate what they're going to have for a meal and then give the insulin shot before. And what we found is it's never right. Because, as you know, one brand of bread is going to give you one reading, another brand is something different. Cottage cheese from one dairy is different than another, so there's no exact way of knowing the proper dosage. That's the biggest problem. The biggest problem in that whole industry in treating diabetics is knowing the proper dosage, and they have this yo-yo. We've seen that, where their sugar goes really high. They're getting, the doctors tell them, increase their dosage, and then what's happening is the blood glucose is going too low. And then they start yo-yoing back and forth, and that's when things get dangerous. You don't want to get that. Now you can moderate it with your food. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming on. Continued success and good luck with the program. And we're going to start experimenting with a lot more foods. See, the way we do this is to get, and you know the progress. You were running some pretty high numbers. So the step is to get out of the red. You just get that very high, dangerous level down by eliminating foods. Once you got that under control, then you experiment with the foods and then fine tune it so you're not going where you're extremely high, dangerous high. Now you're experimenting with the foods that keep it out of the moderate range and get all your numbers in the green, which you're doing, by the way. By the way, you know that 93% of the time your glucose levels are perfect.
Well, that's good. I shoot off the chart here occasionally, but try to keep it in line.
You were 40% in the red zone at one time, you know.
Right.
You've come a long, long way.
It's very, very interesting process. I'm enjoying it. I appreciate your all your efforts in promoting this system.
And I thank you for trying it. You know, you had confidence in us. Remember, when you came on, we were just developing this thing, and by the time we got your equipment. So I appreciate your faith in us, and I appreciate your hard work, and I compliment you on numbers that are really getting very nice.
Well, thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, that's Gary. He's he's really a down to earth kind of guy, and he writes his messages, so he'll let us know what he's doing here. It's an amazing thing watching someone's body recover. You know, where you're getting people who's constantly sky high glucose readings, and sometimes you worry about it, and then all of a sudden it's like a switch happens because they're monitoring their glucose also. So all of a sudden we're making notes saying, no, that wasn't any good for you. Try this. And then as we go down the road, they get the hang of it. And now they're looking at their data device. See, what we've got is a data logger, and it uses a smartphone technology. And the data logger reads the sensor and records the glucose level automatically. Then inside is a menu where you put down your food at the time you ate it. And then by looking at what the sugar is doing, the glucose in your blood level, we then establish what range of foods are good and bad. But you can also monitor it. In other words, we're getting the data. The phone is actually feeding through the Wi-Fi or the 3G network, if you put a SIM card in the phone, to our computers. So we're constantly getting a reading from all the people around the program, constant basis. And it's amazing because we're all seeing the same thing. And then what we do is we obviously, if there's something serious, you get a hold of the person on the phone, make sure they get to see their doctor. It's very important to work with your doctor in this thing, very important, especially if you're taking a lot of medicines. But I'll tell you, our experience is, and I know that the world wants to vilify the doctors. That is not what my experience has been. Doctors are very eager to get patients off of meds, very eager, very cautious, of course. And what they've got now is these data sheets we're sending are detailed minute by minute of what's going on with food and blood glucose levels, which they never had before. And then, a lot of times people don't, in the old days was only like, a year ago before we started this. In the old days, people had to write it down on a little log sheet, and then they wouldn't forget to take a pinprick, or they wouldn't do one often enough. And now, every 5 minutes, we're getting a recording from the reader of what's going on, and then in real time comparing that to the food, watching the rise, and then we put it on a spreadsheet. And now the doctor's sitting there with good information. He makes his calculations, and on everyone that's had it on medicine, everyone, their doctors are systematically reducing what their doses are. And then the other thing we're seeing is a lot of people are coming off of under their doctors. Remember, we're not the doctors. We're the analytical people. We're the data gatherers. We're the diet people. We're experts on that. As far as medicine and prescriptions, that's the realm of doctors who know what they're doing. And trust me, they really know what they're doing. They've been laboring without good information. Now that the technology is moving forward, and they're very eager. We have people coming off of Lipitor. We have people coming off of blood pressure medicine. We see we try to encourage everybody to get a blood test every month, and we're seeing the blood levels across the board come in line. It is amazing because it seems like the glucose controls everything. And when the glucose runs wild, then blood pressure runs wild, cholesterol runs wild, all kinds of bad things are happening. And it seems like from what we're seeing that for a lot of people, get the glucose get under control. Look, everybody's been told. I've been told that you can control your blood pressure with your diet and exercise. You can control your blood level with your diet and exercise. You can control all these risk factors in your life. The problem was I never knew the right diet. That was the problem. I understood. I got it. Doc, I got it. I can control my weight with my diet, and I can control my blood pressure with my diet, my cholesterol with my diet, but I don't know what my freaking diet is. I try these diets and nothing works. Now we can scientifically prove what things should be on your diet, and that's the biggest breakthrough. We're actually controlling this thing. Like I said, it's been well known for a long time that diabetes, which is a horrible disease, can be controlled. My grandfather was a diabetic, by the way, and suffered terribly with it. And what's happened is it was well known that diet could control it. What we didn't understand was the diets they were giving us were wrong. The diets were wrong. They were wrong. Everyone says the same thing. They had stuff on my diet I could tell me I could have, and I couldn't. It made my numbers go wild. And they told me I couldn't have my ice cream, and I can, and it's really good for you. It helps moderate the levels. It's amazing, amazing. So I encourage you, I beg you, take advantage of this technology and change your life. I know for a lot of people, they've given up with the weight. I did. They want a diet, and then you give up, and then it gets bad, and you get on it, and that whole yo-yo cycle. But this really works. This is working with large populations of diverse people, some people with medical conditions. Remember, you're getting the actual record of what's going on, a detailed record, and the doctors see it, and all of a sudden, okay, they correct one medicine after another. Then the blood tests come back, and they can lower the medicines. Basically, we have seen no one have a doctor recommend they increase any meds they're on, and we're seeing everyone have their doctors decrease it. Everyone is seeing the weight loss like we're talking about. We don't count calories. We're not concerned about, we don't want you to go crazy, insane, but I'm saying that all of a sudden your body moderates itself. So I appreciate you being here, and go through the website. There's plenty of other stories of people. Sign up for the program, get you going, and change your life. It's a life-changing experience. I'm very proud to be a part of something that's changing so many lives. It really is. It's amazing. It's a real blessing for me. It's amazing how many people are just completely changing everything they do. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Anyway, thanks for coming by. And we're doing this show, trying to do it live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 o'clock. And if you miss it, we normally have it within a day or so on the website. We'll send you an email or an SMS to let you know when we've posted a new interview. What we've decided to do is just have interviews with the patients that are on the program so you can hear real world what's going on with them. This guy lost 20 pounds in a month. Wow. Anyway, my pleasure. Thank you.